What's up, guys? This is Dave from The Disorderly, joined once again by the esteemed Andrew Volpe.
Hello, world.
To discuss the new film Thoroughbreds. What did you think?
It was good. I literally just got back from it. I saw it on a Monday night. It was like me and one other person in the theater. So, and I liked it, but I will say I did not end up liking it quite as much as I thought I would.
That seems to be like the general reaction, where everyone kind of was like, wow, this is the second coming of Heathers or some such nonsense. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a good sign or bad sign, but I saw it in a basically pretty empty theater over the weekend.
This does not seem like a movie that will make money
I don't
ever.
think so. It's got a pretty narrow focus, you know what I mean? So, but we're in the recliner seats, that basically go completely flat almost, and I'm standing up as you do, stretching a little bit, look around. I always do that weird look. It's kind of creepy. Like, let me scope this place out. And there's a dude just full on in a blanket. He's folding up a blanket. So shout out to him for improving on the movie-going experience and keeping these theaters in business. Whatever you got to do. You know what I mean? Vibrating recliner seats, plush leather, not good enough, I guess. So.
No, I mean, the next stage in the premium theater experience is toilet seats. It's got to be toilet seats.
Didn't want to go in that direction, and but I fear you're right.
I mean, what else can people?
Well, we
do?
already get waited on. You know what I mean? I also had the awkward oh no, that's not my giant tub of popcorn. And then he just went down the entire row. Is this your? Is this your popcorn? Is this your pop?
That would totally be me in high school.
Oh yeah.
If I was that guy, that was my job. I'd be that guy.
But
and then I'd never find it and eat all the popcorn.
And believe me, I sympathize with the guy. But sir, there's literally 40 seats in this small theater. Everything is rows. Everything is numbered. How is this not figured out?
It's my first day.
I digress. And before we get into this, I didn't want to give you a complex, but on our Annihilation video, someone really left you a nasty comment. You know what I mean? About your yammering and you know what I mean. So just try to tighten it up, because some poor bastard on YouTube really had a problem. We got a solid dislike on that video. And
well, honestly, I don't blame him, because until I listened to that video, I had no idea how much I said like. And
you say sometimes. I'll say that.
And I just let me say I'll agree with him. I'm going to try to be a little bit more eloquent.
I hope we get him back. I hope we get him back for another round.
Yes, because we fucking care.
We really.
You don't see other YouTube channels. That means we will cater to every single comment, guys. Just put it out there.
It's not beneath me, right? It was
no shame.
It was the greatest. It's like, I can't remember the guy's name, but basically his profile picture is just him shirtless taking a selfie in a bathroom, and I'm like,
nice.
all right, I see.
You have a fulfilling life, sir. Hey. I wish I was you.
He's proud of what he's got, and God bless him for that. Let's roll on into this. I'm still pretty. So this is a weird one, because it was shot about 2 years ago, I think, right? So I mean, you've kind of got this pretty great cast, and it's still pretty great. And I thought the cast did well. You've got Anya. I always screw up her name, Anya. I always want to say Anna, but it's Anya.
Is it not Anna?
What's that?
Is she like super Russian or something? I always thought it was Anna.
Yeah, I don't know. But Anya Taylor-Joy, from The Witch fame, kind of where I saw her, and then she was in Split, and soon to be in the New Mutants.
In the New Mutants.
Yep.
And she's gonna be Magic, Colossus's brother, and she's a really cool character. So it'll be interesting to see her take on that.
Yeah, and she's pissed that apparently they are it's weird, because I think Maisie Williams was happy that they are taking extra time, and she is pissed that they're taking extra time to add new characters and retool New Mutants. But
Oh, are they doing reshoots?
Oh yeah, come on, you're out of the loop. They pushed it back. I think Fox pushed it back like a year because they want to totally make it. They say they want to make it darker and crazier. I think they're just going to add.
Doesn't sound
they're
good.
they're adding another character that's going to be heavy CGI. That's probably more your department than mine, as to who the hell that could be. And there's some rumors out there. And we've got Olivia Cook, who kind of. I don't know. I mean, I guess Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl is probably one of her big credits. If I totally botched the name of that movie, I'm sorry. I've never seen it.
No, that's I think
Bates Hotel. I don't.
Oh, she was the girl with cystic fibrosis.
She's dying in everything she's in.
I know.
What is up?
Hey man, if you're good at a certain type.
You look great with a tube in your nose. You know what I mean? Like if we need that, can you play pale and sickly and just do you like pulling around an oxygen tank? Like you're ready to rock. Rest in peace. We lost Anton Yelchin in one of the more brutal run over by a Jeep Cherokee stories of recent
like Hollywood
yeah
history.
I mean just ugh. Talk
about you have everything going for you and you're winning at life and then boop, never mind.
Proud of you for having a Jeep Cherokee though, you know what I mean? I would have been like, oh, he got killed by a McLaren or a G-Wagon, but he was just an everyman like us, and a factory default cost him his life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it sucks. I heard all reports where he was genuinely a really nice guy and everything, but I'm not gonna lie. Like watching him, I had a hard time not thinking about that. Like he's great in it. I think not. It's not a particularly, he does very.
Not
well
a super meaty role. It's not likable for sure. It's kind of like he plays the skeezy. Let's give you a quick rundown. This is full spoilers. Like we're just having a talk here. So I really shouldn't have to give you a whole rundown in the plot if you've seen this, but. He kind of plays an unfortunate, I don't know, kind of sort of a tool plot device of the two protagonist female leads who end up kind of manipulating him into some weird blackmail and some things like that. But, basically just calls their bluff, and nothing really happens, which kind of took some of the stakes out of it for me. You know what I mean? I was a little disappointed that they just kind of like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it felt like as the movie went on, the tension deflated a little bit. Like, I was pretty on board at first, and I kind of felt that almost kind of like the characters, the Olivia What's-Her-Face's character is the numb
Amanda
sociopath.
Yep.
Amanda,
yep.
Yeah. She, like, as the characters kind of, and the other girl, as she learns to become less sensitive, I kind of felt desensitized myself a little bit.
So you were identifying with the psychopath Olivia more than you were Lily, who's kind of just, I don't know how you, it seems more vulnerable, I guess, but not any more likable, really. They were both kind of psychopaths to me, but one was kind of your standard,
Yeah, like Lily, I liked the way that Lily kind of revealed herself to be a psychopath as it went. Like, she seems quite normal at first, and she's kind of like the audience entry point, like I guess the audience surrogate or whatever. And I think she's great. Like, I think she's honestly the best part of the movie. But for a movie that's essentially like what, 4-5 characters.
The cast is literally like 7 people.
7 people in a bunch of mansions, and the mansions it's well shot, it's well acted, the mansions are beautiful, but I felt like it actually kind of was almost running out of steam. Like, you can only have so many scenes of people kind of deadpanning to the camera and just getting, I know, engulfed in rich people ennui or something that it kind of it's entertaining at first, but I feel like you can only keep that going so long without really introducing something super different to the plot. And I felt like it just kind of was going to this inevitable conclusion that at first I thought was super engaging, and I did feel the tension, and then like by the end I was getting to the point where it's like, come on, just kill this motherfucker already. But I thought I really liked the way they didn't have to spell everything out for you. Like, I like how you kind of just know the stepdad's a dick and a pervert. With like, they never come out and say really. I suppose he thwarts his stepdaughter's whatever the college he's applying for, and is sending her to the other school and stuff. And
I think this is all high school. I think this is all those.
Oh, is it just other boarding schools?
I think so, because
I had a hard time gauging how old they were actually supposed to be, because they're both like 15, 16 or something.
Well, I think they're in their junior, senior years. They're finishing up, and they're still kind of in boarding school or whatever. They're at kind of elite boarding schools, and then from there, I guess. But because at the end of the movie, she's meeting someone for a college entrance thingamajig, right? So and
that was like a year later or something.
And then the tutoring is all SAT stuff. You know what I mean? It's all
right.
And we not to date ourselves, but we took the one true SAT. You know what I mean? The 1600. I don't know what the kids have going on these days with 2600s and whatnots. But yeah, we took the one true SAT and didn't do great. I don't care to go into it, but
there's a reason why we're podcasters.
Yeah, I mean one of the sore spots in my life, probably right there.
Yeah.
You know, didn't test well.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, it was also funny because that whole Connecticut,
the Greenwich thing,
rich, yeah, I was like, this is such a world that is unfamiliar to me, and I didn't. I don't know if that also kind of like after a while kind of like took me out of it.
What are you talking about? We went to a high school that was like not too dissimilar to this craziness.
No, it's true. We did go to a well-off high school, but I don't know. I didn't know anyone that was that rich or something. But yeah, I suppose there was a sense. One of the things I did like was, a good portion of the movie is just these like tracking shots through these like beautiful mansions. Like the house that this girl lives in with her asshole stepdad is just endlessly filled with like works of art and artifacts from around the world and like great cultures. And I love how they like never even mentioned like what the dad does for a living.
Yeah, well, I think they just identify him with the clothes and stuff. He's kind of like clearly in finance or something.
But they got all the little he's an asshole touches in the clothing.
The lion photo, the safari photo and stuff established like right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And who has photos of yourself like that on your desk? Like this is clearly like a super duper like narcissist. Though I was disappointed that the samurai sword in the beginning didn't come into play. I was assuming that
would have been a good callback at the end, because I was disappointed that we never really got to see like that it just didn't go anywhere. Like, what was she gonna do with it? Just take it out and start waving it around?
Yeah, I mean, she probably didn't even know. And another thing I did like was I liked how throughout, what was it like? It was like the stepdad's rowing machine,
right? Yeah,
like that was kind of the subliminal cue for like, oh, I want to kill him. But you never saw it, and like you never see her. I liked that they didn't show the murder. Like, I liked that scene by itself.
I was a little upset that it wasn't an on-screen death. I thought, we worked.
After all that build-up, it was I liked the way it was shot, and if that scene just stood on its own, it was cool. But yeah, it was dissatisfying as a climax.
I wanted a clever explanation of how she was going to do it, because she is a dainty young 15-year-old girl, and even with a knife, dude, like he's a strapping like crazy juice head taking TRT and shit, you know what I mean? Like he's also the type that would be paranoid. I mean, he clearly, I feel like he would be smart enough to realize, hey, she might be trying to kill me. No way.
He seems like his guard is up. I mean, he was he was awake when Anton Yelchin was apparently coming to shoot him or whatever. So yeah, it felt like a little bit of a cop out.
I think he gets woken up though. You know what I mean? He gets woken up because the flashing motion detector lights and stuff. So he'll, I don't know. I don't know why he would. Did you get perviness? I didn't get perv out of him really. I got weird, kind of hostile, but not too pervy.
I was assuming it was something, because that's usually shorthand for make us hate this guy thing.
Right.
It's like, ooh, he's the touchy bad stepdad. But
I think that would have introduced a whole layer that they didn't want to go into. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't get bogged down in that. But I was also, I almost towards the end when he's like giving her shit for smoking. It did kind of make me wonder, hey, yes, this guy is a fucking douche, but maybe like I kind of had almost assumed for a good portion of the movie, like, oh, he's like getting touchy with her or something. But towards the end, I was like, oh, maybe he's just an asshole, and she has that high schooler rage of wanting to kill your stepdad for being an asshole.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because I think his entire motivation is get rid of her, get her out of the house. And if he was creeping on her, it would seem he would want the opposite of that, right? You know what I mean?
That's a very good point.
So I don't know. I feel like he just wanted her to get on up and get on out.
He did just very like the actor that played him,
Paul Sparks.
He had that stare down. Like he was fantastic throughout the whole movie.
I will always see him as I'm trying to remember his character's name, but from what is it called? The HBO show. He's my
Oh, are you talking about the guy
Boardwalk?
From,
Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah. The cop and he was in Eastbound and Down.
Yeah, Mickey.
Shea Wiggum.
Shea Wiggum.
I think so. If we're thinking of the same dude,
I don't think so. I think I think it's Mickey. That's what.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but he pops up in a lot of stuff. He does a lot of TV. He's an interesting actor. He kind of perfectly played that role. The scene that they kind of show in the trailer with him kind of barking. After, and I was like, listen, she should just kind of cleverly set booby traps that kind of ruin. I thought that would be an interesting way to go. And then they just kind of abandoned that whole line of things. You know what I mean? I mean, she just does passive aggressive things like eat alone, watch a movie on loud. You know what I mean? But, I was like, whoa, like messing with his bike tires and then clearly demonstrating that was an effective, choice. You know what I mean? I would like to see a series of those events, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it felt like the bike tire was going to ramp up to something more, and I think, that's kind of the thing that disappointed me a bit from my expectation from the trailer to actually seeing it. Is it was actually like a little bit more grounded in reality than I almost would have liked. Like, it gets all these comparisons to Heathers, but Heathers is a fucking satire that all this ridiculous shit happens that I don't feel like would get away. Like, this movie felt like it wasn't so implausible that this could not happen in real life, and that almost kind of made it more serious than I wanted.
I thought she was going to poison him because they kind of demonstrate the juice and everything that all he does is drink this juice.
She already roofied her friends in order to kill him.
Why not get a little chemical in this situation? You know what I mean, and do some weirdness. I would have drugged the juice, then maybe murdered him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that I thought about it a lot, but you know what I mean. It just attacking a man when his adrenaline is up, he's working out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems dicey to me.
It felt like they were like, I don't know if it's just that we're conditioned from all these movies to expect the elaborate, like, almost Ocean's 11-y sort of
plot unfolds, reveals.
Yeah, like that's part of the fun. And I think the thing is, when we're usually watching black comedies, it's almost like the emphasis is a little bit more on the comedy, so we can cover up the dark subject matter in the fact that this is kind of like a caper or something like that. And this had a lot of fun elements to it, and I did like the deadpan humor, but it did feel like, oh, they are just you felt the weight of what they were doing, but it's also something that's been, there's many movies about, like, it's almost like a subgenre of like teen girls that decide to either go on a killing spree or stage a murder or something.
Right.
And I feel like this didn't bring enough really fresh to the table. Like, it does some stuff well. Like, I still think it's well shot and it's well put together, but I also noticed, like, a lot of the scenes were, like, usually all the sound is diegetic. Like, it's if you hear a song, it's coming from a speaker or something. Mm-hmm. So I think the long scenes of just quiet moments kind of took some of the humor out of it by then. Yeah. Too.
I mean, so what did you think? All the Stanley Kubrick comparisons and all the closely following people behind that Kubrick is kind of famous for, and the weird long shots, and because a lot of people have made like Shining comparisons to.
Really? Yeah. I mean, there's a bit of that, and I think it was well done, but yeah, it's not. I don't think it's in the same ballpark. It's got very different names too, you know.
Yeah, Cory Finley's the director. He, I think he's, I think I read that he's a playwright, and then, you know, because this felt like a play in some ways, you know what I mean? A little bit, and
I could totally see that,
especially with so few characters and just kind of heavy dialogue between pairs and.
I mean, it's basically only got a few sets,
right?
Like locations in it either. And it that was kind of cool too, because it almost felt like a prison. Like, you got a little bit of that gilded cage sense, or that maybe these girls or the main character is almost like another object in this house, pretty much. Though I felt, I wish that was communicated more in the story. I felt like that's what they were going for in the visuals a little bit, but it didn't feel like it was falling anywhere specific or had a really very specific, clear message it was going for.
Yeah, okay, so for the conclusion, did you feel there was any controversy between, because I've seen some people with some different theories that that whether or not she remembers Olivia Cook, whether or not her character remembers the incident or not, and she's living with that knowledge that she's in basically a psych ward, knowing that she didn't do it, or she's, because I've heard people claim both sides of that, but I felt like she kind of clearly demonstrated in the letter that,
yeah, I think she knew.
Right.
She said she flashes back to the moment before you. She even says, you gave me the whatever, the roofie cocktail.
But I've heard people argue that wouldn't necessarily have convinced her that she immediately just passed out and was innocent. So it's been a weird kind of up for debate thing. I don't know if it's kind of established. I don't know if the director's kind of explained it, but and then Anna Taylor-Joy's kind of character saying she didn't read the letter at the end, and you know that's kind of an interesting.
Yeah, I wonder. I felt, I almost just kind of assumed that because the character was so apathetic to everything that she knew, like the fact that she, you know, just faced that whole glass of OJ. It felt like I was trying to figure out, you know, what it was more of, because it seemed like she, you know, it felt like she's almost supposed to be like Honeymoon the horse, like she's
good pull on the horse's name. I could not remember that damn horse's name.
Yeah, that I'm amazed I remember that too.
If that's not the name of the horse, I will get you back for this. I have no idea.
It was it's something weird.
Morning
like that,
dew, honeymoon, hunting, something. God,
who names horses? But yeah, I kind of assumed that it was in the same way that she put out the horse, killed the horse as like a mercy killing kind of for a friend. she was doing a favor for her friend. Was it more of a generous act towards her friend, or was it her kind of just trying to cop out of life and almost like an act of suicide, or a social suicide? You're locked up in a mental ward for the rest of your life, because they seem to kind of it felt like it was some sort of tribute to their friendship in the very end, even though there was a lot of them using each other.
Yeah, it was strange because both the Olivia Cook's character Amanda and Anton Yelchin's character Tim, I think, right? Tim, does that sound right?
Sure.
Yeah, Tim the drug dealer. They're both kind of talking about working for themselves, being entrepreneurs, hustling,
right?
And it's just the weird parallels that they kind of both drew to that attracted them to that kind of reckless lifestyle. Like, it is kind of suicide being out on your own and trying things and taking risks, where Anya Taylor-Joy's character is very much more like, hey man, you can't put me in that semi crappy school with a reputation. Like, my whole track will be ruined, you know what I mean, if that happens. Right. So just kind of the juxtaposition of kind of following in her scumbag dad's footsteps, and the dreamers kind of getting trampled on.
Yeah, and I kind of felt like Anya Taylor-Joy absorbed her friends. I was also trying to figure out if it was like she learned how to be kind of a sociopath from her friends.
I don't think so. I think she was ready to rock. Like,
she was like hiding it the whole. Like, she's actually the crazier one of the two.
But she got caught cheating, right? So that's the guise of the whole thing is why. Because the guise is that she's home early because she was so good at school that she finished early and came home. That's the cover story.
Right. But she's got the internship,
right? Or whatever. Yep. And she lied about that, right? So she's got a whole thing going on. It's all image. And but yeah, because she had to write that letter, begging for readmittance and everything like that. And one of my favorite scenes is that when she just lets her guard down pretty early on, and when she asks her to like say something honest to me or something, or I'm trying to remember how it kicked off. But just talking about,
it's like, that's the first real thing you've said to me in 5 years, or that change.
Yeah, when she just drops, you see her just face drop, and she goes, you haven't showered, you're not getting away with, you stink, you know what I mean? Just being totally real, and that fakeness just falls away all of a sudden. That was one of my favorite scenes in the film.
Right. She's very good at changing. Kind of playing innocent and everything, but also being ice cold when she needs to be. Yeah.
So I mean, I think they're both psychos. One is kind of mopey, and the other one is high functioning. What's his name? American Psycho, kind of. You know what I mean? That kind of Patrick Bateman. That kind of that vein. Yeah, man. And any other further thoughts? As we kind of wrap up here?
Not really. Just it's a shame. I assume was that Anton Yelchin's last film?
I think it was the last. No, I don't think he's got anything left in the can, as they say in Hollywood.
That's a shame. But he was a really good actor. So it's I'm glad he had a pretty solid last role and everything, and
pretty bad.
Yeah, it wasn't. Could have been a little bit better, but it wasn't. It wasn't terrible. But the cast in this is great, so I'm really looking forward to seeing them in other projects, and I like it enough to be excited and interested to see what all the people that worked on this do next. So.
All right, well, there you go. Sounds like a recommendation to me. I recommend you go see it. I mean, if you haven't seen it and you're listening to this, I don't know what you're doing.
Just wait like 2 months and it'll be out on Netflix.
It's gonna be on a streaming service pretty quickly here. I'm gonna go Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's a little bit more highfalutin. That makes sense.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. I know we suck, but appreciate every view, like, subscribe, follow us on thedisorderly.com. find us in the description below. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, anywhere you are. And as I always say, we'll try to do better next time. We're gonna do our Ready Player One comparison if I can get Volpe to go see the movie within the first few days of it being in a theater. And
it's tough to get me out of my hole, but I think I'll be able to make it.
Now, are you confident that you can remember enough of the book, or am I gonna have to carry you through this thing like Annihilation?
I'll probably go through the Wikipedia.
There you go. Attaboy. Yeah, just read the Wikipedia real quick.
Just a little refresher. Right. But I got the feeling this one's gonna be. I feel like they'll be somewhat true to the book. With
have you heard about all the positive reviews that Spielberg's getting, standing ovation and all that?
I read it on the Disorderly.com.
There we go. See, today. Nice little drop there.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool, and also Deadpool 2. That's a little concerning.
Yeah, but then so of course people are coming out today and countering it, and so who the hell knows? Right. I mean, you see one of those things pop up, and I always kind of take it with a grain of salt, but there was multiple.
It makes good clickbait.
Just multiple tweets. Yeah, great clickbait. But who knows? I mean, God, they'll things just. Those are weird because you've got 3 to 4 random Twitter accounts kind of saying something similar, and they're not random people; they're actual people. And then they'll dig up 25. They'll just bury you in the that's not true. I've heard contrary to that belief, or that Fox is actually really happy with it, and it's all nonsense. But I mean, anyway. Are you concerned that Ready Player One's going to be terrible like The Last Jedi? Sorry.
I didn't totally hate The Last Jedi, by the way, but no, I think it'll be good. I mean, Spielberg's pretty dependable, and it's good subject matter, and I think they'll throw enough into it to make it fun. But
easily accessible nostalgia from brands that we've negotiated with .com.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they were able to pull it together with the IP.
Now that's a goddamn unfilmable. I'll say we talked earlier about A Wrinkle in Time being unfilmable. Nay.
Yeah.
I'd go Ready Player One right up there with Blood Meridian as pretty unfilmable. You know what I
mean? Those two are like the same book.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. You've read one, you've read the other, as I say.
Yeah.
All right.
Cormac McCarthy is always all about that video game fiction.
Yeah, that old Cormac, you know what I mean? He's really painted himself in a corner with all his 80s nostalgia and wackadoo craziness. That
he really loves his Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
He's all about it.
Just, beats you over the head with it. So, we'll try to do better the next time. We're always trying to improve. We're
sorry,
We're
guys.
sorry. We're just, we're just trying to make our way in this crazy world, so appreciate ya. As the Fupa God would always say, H3H3 shout out. But thanks guys, and please toss us a subscription if you like, toss us a like. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Have a nice night.